All right, that sounds almost like Siri. Okay, we are ready to rock and roll. Today we're going to talk about the transformation tool or transform, free transform, or whatever we're going to call it today. We're going to do that. We're going to have some fun with it. Going to be some wicked cool tips along the way. Hopefully you guys will learn a little bit. So before we get started, let's go ahead and share my desktop and hopefully you can see the magic screen up there. And Photoshop 0 to 60 in a week, June 8th through the 13th, 2025, West Coast School. If you haven't been to West Coast School, which I think most everybody that's on live right now has been, if you haven't been, it is, as Arthur Rainville would say, wicked cool. You get to spend a week with one instructor, hopefully me, and it's like a family atmosphere. You meet friends. They're going to become lifelong friends because you're going to run into them again and again and again. Um, I can't see any reason not to go to West Coast School. So if you want to go to westcoastschool.com or go to the phone and pick it up and dial 1-800-439-5839 extension 3
Or one or
or
two.
2. Yep. Same person's going to answer all three of them. So, and by the way, that is sponsored by Miller's Professional Imaging. At least I am sponsored by them, and I really love Miller's. Okay, why is it not? There we go. Cool.
Your splat cue is not working either, huh?
My splat cue is not working. So let's get into the transformation tool. Um, get into this one first. And as you can see, there's a little bird on the fence. This is in my backyard. I've been having fun with all the animals running around, squirrels and birds and weird people running around my neighborhood. So I get to have a good time. Um, what I want to do is I want to do a free transformation on the letters that are at the top and also do some other cool stuff. Number one, I put a little stroke around the birds and the us, but not the R, just for fun. And I put them on two separate layers, so I'm going to mess with the R a little bit. I want to take the stroke that's on those and apply it to the R. I could go into the R, double click on the blue to the left of it, go into stroke and redo it again. But I'm all about efficiency. So instead of doing that, I'm going to hold the Option or Alt key, click on the FX or effects, and drag it up. And what that does, it adds the stroke to it. Whatever effects are set down here, it puts it up there. If I had other effects and I only wanted the stroke, then what I would do is hold the Option or Alt key, click on the stroke, and just drag the stroke up there. If I have multiple, whoops, I just doubled that. That was wrong. Command Z works wonders. I love the Command Z. So the R, I want to do like kind of like homage to Toys R Us, where they had the R backwards. So let's go ahead and make sure that layer is selected. And I'm going to hit Command or Control T. And I can make it bigger or smaller just by dragging the corners down. Or let's do Command T one more time. Right click, or you can control click on a Mac, or you right click if you got a good mouse. Go down to flip horizontal and it turns it backwards for me. Oh, wicked cool. That was so easy. I just hit the done and it's there. So now we have Toys R Us. I'm sorry, we have Birds R Us. Well, I want to make them both bigger. So I'm going to hold the shift key. I have the R selected right now. Hold the shift key, click on the birds. I'm going to do a Command or Control G. If you don't want the shortcut, you can go up to the drop down menu and find New Group from Layers, or you can go up to the layer panel up here and somewhere up here is Group Layers. There it is. But holy cow, why do I want to go looking for it? All I have to do is Command or Control G, and it made a group. And I'm going to rename the group because I'm great at renaming my layers. Not, we'll call it letters. And with the group thing, if I hold Command and Control T, I can make it bigger. I want to make it so it goes all the way out in all directions, proportional. So I'm going to hold the Option or Alt key and then just drag it down a little bit. You can double click on inside the Command T, inside that box. You can click Done on the upper contextual taskbar. You can click the checkbox up there, or you can click inside the Layers panel. All of those will get those finished for you and make them so the transformation is complete. Any question on that one? No questions? Cool. What I'm going to do now is I am going to drag it down so it's close to the middle, and I'm holding my Shift key so it goes straight down. If I try to go side to side, it won't go. It will go down. If I hold it and change it, hold my Shift key, then it will go side to side. So you got to let go to let it do its thing, so to speak. I'm going to do another Command T, free transform, and I am going to transform when I can spin it by clicking just outside the corner, and I can spin it around, and you'll notice that it has this little dot in the middle there. That little dot is what works for where you want it to spin from. I'm trying to remember the name of the dot that's there. It's called a reference point. I'm going to hit escape and let it straighten out again. However, when I do a Command T this time, I'm going to hold the Shift key down when I do this. And as I hold the Shift key down, it will spin in 15-degree increments. So it's 15, 30, and so on. So if you want to spin it precisely at 15 degrees, or if you want it to spin freely, you can do that as well. And that straightens it out again. Questions on that one? Going once, going twice? Okay, fine. When you do a transform, free transform is Command T. If you hold the Option key, it will proportionally go inward. So I'm going to hold the Option key and it will go inward towards that dot, which is really cool. You can control where it goes. Hit escape, hit Command T again. If I move my dot over to the left-hand side, and then I hit the Option key, you'll notice that the right-hand side is outside the purview, so I can't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command 0, and it should bring up my layers, but it's not. Okay. So I'm going to hold the Option key, and you can see where it's going. It's going towards the dot, that little dot right here. So if I move the dot over to here, and I try to transform, holding the Option key, you can see it goes towards that dot. If I try to spin it, it will spin on that dot. And then you hit escape and it goes back to normal. Okay, Command T one more time. If we hold the
Michael,
Command,
could you review where that dot comes into being?
I can. That is an excellent question. Up in the upper left-hand corner. It used to be automatic that it would pop in when you did free transformations. But 2 years ago, they decided, oh, you guys don't need that. So up in the upper left-hand corner of the toolbar, you have the checkbox. you click the checkbox and it turns it off. Or if you haven't had it on before, click the checkbox to turn it on. You can also tell it I want it in the bottom left-hand corner or top right corner by clicking on the little dots up in the box up there. Or, let's see, I'm trying to remember. I want to say Shift Control or Shift Command. Nope. I'm trying to remember the shortcut to allow it to, you can click anywhere in the picture. There it is. Command Option or Control Alt. If you hold those two keys down and click, so I want to put it in the middle of the U, I'm going to hold the Control or the Option, both Control and Option, and click in the U, and now I have that dot there. So anywhere, it's going to rotate around that dot. Any other questions on that one?
I have a question.
Okay.
Not quite about this. It used to be I could take a selection and I wanted to make it bigger and I would pull and it would go proportionally. Now it goes crazy. It doesn't want to stay there. And I tried holding the shift key down, which I thought was what you're supposed to do, and that still didn't do it. It distorted it. Am I somewhere in La La Land?
Maybe. You have been in the past, right?
Yeah, I sure have.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, I'm going to go in Command T again.
Yeah.
And up at the very top toolbar, you have width and height. If you make sure that that link is checked, so it's
Oh,
highlighted, then it's going to maintain the aspect.
okay.
If it's not checked, it goes wonky on you.
Yeah.
So if it is not checked and you don't care about that, if you start to make your move and it goes wonky, just hit Command Z and then hold the Shift key down and it will go back like the old version from way back when
Yeah.
you had to hold the Shift key down.
Yeah, that's what confused me because I think I set it on something where it said, oh, disregard that, do the old thing, and now it's still doing it for me.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times where I'm working and I'm like when I'm putting presentation mat together and I put the stroke at a certain level, sometimes they're not the same width and height. So I have to go in and do one, say at 102, and then the other one, I have to unclick that and do 103.5, and it gets a better response that way.
Okay, thank you.
And then when you go back to do it again, you start to make your transformation. All of a sudden, oh man, I forgot to reset it. So I go up, click on the reset up there so it's linked. And if it's highlighted, you're good to go.
Okay, great.
Hopefully that answers the question and you'll never have a problem again.
So Mike, within that transform tool, you got that going horizontal. Can you make that go vertical? Or do you gotta, go back in and redo it from the text side?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Birds R Us is going horizontal. Can you make that go vertical within the transform, or do you need to go in and do that back in the text area?
So having the letters go down the side,
Yeah.
and you'd have to do that in the text area.
Okay. All right.
You can turn it sideways.
Yeah, but okay. Got it. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, you have to use the vertical text tool.
Answers the question.
All right. Vertical type tool. I'm sorry,
Yep.
not text type. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Any other questions? Okay. Hang on one second. Okay, so we've picked on this bird enough. We're good to go. Close him out. Now we're going to show some magic with the transformation tool. I'm going to open up my sword. Somebody asked me to photograph a sword for him one time, and this is the first draft that I did and needed some work on it, but that's okay. I am going to go to my magic wand tool or any of the selection tools up here in the W's, which is magic wand, object selection, and quick selection. And I'm going to click on select subject. As a reminder, hopefully you set your preferences so when you do select subject is cloud. The reason for cloud is it's a little bit slower, that's okay, but it gets a much better result when you do your selection. So we selected cloud, click on select subject, and I'm fairly happy with that selection. I can live with that. So I'm going to do a Command J, which is making a copy layer of it. And I'm going to turn the background layer white for now so we can just see what we're doing. So I don't need that whole background anymore. So I'm going to hit Command Delete or Command Backspace because it's my background color that it is white. So we'll just hit that and boom. So if I turn it off, I have the layer by itself, and then I have the white background all by itself as well. I am going to go to Command T on my sword layer. Let's rename that from layer 1 to sword, or if you pronounce it incorrectly, sword. And we're going to do a Command T to make it a little bit smaller. Hold the Option key. Perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and put a grid in there for me. I'm going to new guide. I'm going to do horizontal 50%, which gives me halfway top to bottom. Go to view, guides, new guide, and we're going to go vertical at 50%. I don't know how many people knew you could do this or not, but we can do this. I'm going to take my move tool, V for move. I'm going to put the handle right on the crosshairs right here. So we'll zoom in so you can see right in the middle of the crosshairs, I have the handle there. I want to do a Joe Herkel special. Joe is good for making pinwheels and things like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Command T, and I want to rotate it a certain amount of times to make the pinwheel. Somebody give me a number between 20 and 30.
22.
22 it is. Okay. How many degrees would it take to make 360 degrees at 22 swords?
A lot.
I don't have a clue. So I'm going to go up to the box, which is right next to my height, which is the set rotation. I want to do 360 degrees divided by 22. And I made a mistake already, so let me undo that. I'm going to do the same thing one more time. But before I do that, I'm going to take my positioner right here, and I'm going to drag it over to right on the center right there. So it's going to rotate all the way around. Now we'll do 360 degrees divided by 22. And hit enter, and boom, perfect. Not quite. What I need to do now is hold the Shift, Option, or Alt, Command, or Control key and hit T. Over and over and over and over 22 times. And that gave me my pinwheel there. So I've got 21 copies of my sword. So the top layer is selected. It's in the blue. So I'm going to go to my last layer with sword, hold the shift key and select all those layers, do a Command G to make a group. That way it's less struggle. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm going to
Mike,
add, yes,
can you tell me again what you did right before you did that rotation to make it go over and over and over?
nope.
Okay,
You have to watch my video, hit like, and make sure you're subscribed. No, I'm kidding.
I will.
Okay, let's go back. Uh-oh, I can't go back.
I missed the step after you
That's
said
all right.
360 divided by 22
Yeah.
and put it in the middle. Then what?
Then you hit enter. So I'm going to go to my sword again, which is basically open. I'm going to hit, I need to reselect it. So let's go to W, select subject, got my selection, Command J to make copy of the selection. So it's on its own layer. Fill the
Okay.
background. I don't have to, but I'm going to fill the background with white just so it stands out by itself. And I'm going to click on layer one for my sword, Command T to make it smaller. And then I got to put the guides in again. It's okay for me to go through this and show it again. Some people would need to see it as well. So 50% on vertical, go up to view, guides, new guide, and we're going to do 50% on horizontal.
Uh-huh.
And that setup, take the move tool, move this critter over, and I'm going to do a Command T, move this little dot right there so it rotates around the outside, and we'll do our set rotation 360 divided by 22, and then hit enter, and it did it automatically. At this point, you're going to hold basically the whole left side of the keyboard. Shift, Option, Command, Shift, Alt, Control, and then T again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not even going to count. I'm just going to wait till it's all the way there.
Option.
There we go. Now you have your little sundial, and everything is perfect almost.
Thank you.
You betcha. And then we'll take the top layer all the way down to layer one, hold the shift key, and it selects all the layers in between. If you hold the command or control key, it only selects a layer at a time. So when I hit command or control G, it makes a group. The reason why I'm doing that is it's so much easier when I'm working with a smaller layers panel than to have all those laid out there and trying to figure out where I'm at. So that's why I do that. We're going to go to the background layer. We're going to add a gradient layer. So the second one down is gradient. And it's set to linear right now. I'm thinking, let's go to radial and incandescent. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, let's do incandescent. Let's do that one. And we'll go to properties and we can adjust things. I can make it smaller or bigger where it says scale right here. I can make it bigger, smaller. Type, you can go from solid to noise. Whoa, I don't think I want noise. It's a little bit distracting. Back to solid. Type smooth. I like smooth. It works gooder that way. And if you want to change the colors a little bit, you can double click on the little ball right there and we make it more of a teal, and then click on the ball on the right. We'll make it a little bit more purpley. And then if you don't like how bright it is, you can drag the opacity down a little bit. It does take a little while for it to catch up, but that's about 82%. That looks okay. I can live with that. But now you have the transformation tool doing all the work for you. If you tried to figure out how many degrees it would take per move and make it go angled like that, it would drive you crazy. Let Photoshop do the work for you.
I have done it the hard way.
Haven't we all? I learned this trick about a year ago, and I forget who showed it on one of their videos. It's like, oh, cool. I'm glad I saw that. That saved me a whole lot of time. So just that easy. So I think that covers the transformation tool. Do we have any more questions out there? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, let's do this.